right, Leroy. Who's the one and only master?
I am.
Oh, God damn. Let me go, motherfucker, let me go.
Knicks Daily Edition, baby. The burden has been lifted. For decades, the New York Knicks have been a sleeping giant in the NBA. With our rich legacy, the legacy that this franchise has long lived in terms of looking for its relevance. We were desperate for a team that could not only ignite Madison Square Garden, but also inspire fear in the league. We got that team right now. Today, I think we finally found that team. And it starts with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is no longer a one-man army. He's no longer a one-man army, and people are getting nervous about that. In previous seasons, Brunson bore the Herculean task of being the Knicks' engine, their compass, their closer, all of that. And he still is. But he was our offensive lifeline, often needing to manufacture points from nothing, carry heavy minutes, rescue the team in crunch time. Now, while Brunson proved to be up to the challenge, the weight of that expectation was unsustainable, especially over 82 game season and then the playoffs, okay? But now, thanks to the arrivals and the ascension of Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG, Brunson finally has real help. With the scoring load shared and defensive responsibilities spread, what we're seeing in this year's playoffs, the 2025 New York Knicks have transformed from a gritty overachiever into a multi-dimensional juggernaut. And I've been trying to tell you the versatility is crazy. This is no longer just a Brunson or bust operation. This is now your New York Knicks, championship contenders. Somebody that the NBA should be very, very scared of. Our synergy is lethal. This is why the league, particularly title contenders, should be deeply concerned. We're coming for the crown. We're coming for the crown this playoff run. The evolution of Jalen Brunson from being a burden to brilliance. Jalen Brunson's rise with the Knicks has been nothing short of sensational. After leaving Dallas, many questioned whether he could truly lead a franchise, a squad. He answered that question emphatically. The man has been averaging over 27 points per game in last year's playoffs. He logs 40 plus minutes a night, and he delivers in clutch moments. He won Clutch Player of the Year this year in 2025. However, that success comes at a cost. Brunson often was double teamed last year. Physically, he was exhausted, and he was forced to create offense for himself and his teammates late in the shot clock. We, as the Knicks, often relied on his mid-range game and his ability to draw fouls. So we knew a man of his size can get beat up quickly that way. And we recognized that was hero ball, and that formula had limits, especially against elite playoff defenses that could swarm and focus in on him as a single focal point. But now, with teammates who can take over games themselves, Brunson is free to evolve. The man doesn't have to bear the brunt of the offense. He can pace himself over the course of games and a series. He can be more selective with his shot taking, increasing his efficiency. He serves as a surgical facilitator now, using his court vision to exploit mismatches. But more importantly, the man can dominate in spurts, rather than being forced to carry the team wire to wire. No longer is he a lone wolf. The man got a squad behind him. Brunson is now the apex predator, and this is a well-coordinated pack. And Tom Thibodeau is the maestro of it all. We got Karl-Anthony Towns, and I'm telling you, he's going to find his rhythm. We saw the flashes, but here he doesn't need to dominate. He's perhaps the most important piece of this new Knicks formula. The man is a 7-footer with a shooting stroke the same as a guard would have. Karl-Anthony Towns gives us as a squad a scoring big man unlike anyone that we've had in franchise history. I know that's blasphemous for me to say. But why should teams fear Karl Anthony Towns on this Knicks squad in this playoff run? Elite floor spacing. Cat is a career 40% shooter from three-point range. That means that opposing centers, you have to leave the paint, opening up those driving lanes for Brunson and Bridges and Josh Hart. Then he has the pick and pop threat, where few pick and pop combinations are as deadly as Brunson and Towns. We've heard teams say that during the regular season. Defenses can't go under screens, and blitz and Brunson leaves Towns wide open from deep. The next point is the post play and isolation. When the shot clock winds down, Towns can take smaller defenders on the block. He's a proven 20-plus point per game scorer who can exploit second units or draw fouls on star bigs. The man is just about to start cooking. But then he's a secondary playmaker as well. Towns, I love his passing ability. He's underrated as a passer. And when you got cutters like Bridges and Hart, Towns at the high post becomes a hub for off-ball action. Now, defensively, I think Towns benefits greatly from the perimeter stoppers that are around him. He can stay home and protect the rim rather than switch on to guards when he's the big in the starting lineup. The Knicks' elite defense infrastructure with Tom Thibodeau coordinated can hide a lot of the flaws while spotlighting his offensive gifts. But Mikal Bridges, in terms of this versatility, Mikal Bridges is the modern wing that we needed in today's basketball. If Towns is the Knicks' spacing engine, then Mikal Bridges is our scalpel. Bridges can dissect defenses without needing high usage. His impact is felt in the margins, transition threes, backdoor cuts, deflections, lockdown perimeter defense. Ask Jason Tatum. But here's why Bridges makes the Knicks dangerous. 1, Iron Man durability. The man hasn't missed a game in his entire career. That stability anchors our rotation. Then he's switchable defensively. Bridges can guard point guards through power forwards. He thrives on switching schemes, making the Knicks adaptable on defense. But secondary scoring is also something he can do. He can score 18 to 22 points without disrupting our offense. He finds open shots. He moves off the ball like Klay Thompson. And it's very rarely that he forces shots. But then you have that Villanova chemistry. He played with Brunson. He played with Hart before. That swagger's coming back. Transition into the team was seamless. And the chemistry is starting to overpower what Boston is doing. That's why we're dangerous. Bridges gives the Knicks a two-way star who can take pressure off Brunson and absorb the challenge of guarding the opponent's best perimeter players. I was telling everybody, I'm like, the Knicks shop specifically for Boston, Brown, and Tatum. And since I'm talking about one part of Wingstop, let's talk about the other part of Wingstop. OG is a human Swiss Army knife. OG Anunoby is one of the most undervalued players in the NBA. He's not flashy, but he's brutally efficient. He doesn't need plays called for him. He simply makes the team better. And at the end of this past season, the man was playing like Scottie Pippen. This is why opposing teams are terrified of him. He's an elite wing defender. He led the league in steals in 2023. And with his size, he can guard Giannis, Tatum, Durant, whoever you throw at him. And what I love is that he's a knockdown corner shooter, 38% career shooter from deep. OG thrives in the corners, with Towns stretching the top.
Oh, shit.
Pause. And Brunson collapsing defenses, OG feasts. And then he's a physical cutter. OG has strong legs, pause. But he finishes through contact. He's a perfect release valve when Brunson drives and he kicks. And we're starting to see that in the postseason. He has toughness in the postseason. In 2024, OG was a steadying presence for us. He guarded stars and he still hit big shots. When OG is your fourth or fifth scoring option, your team is overloaded. Let's be 100. The team is like stacked.
Jesus Christ.
And then we haven't talked about our heart of the squad, Josh Hart, the energy source, the cultural catalyst. There's a reason Josh Hart is a fan favorite of ours. The man plays like every possession is his last. If you need a crucial rebound, guess who's going to get it? He's going to out-hustle their power forward. If you need a momentum three, guess who's going to get it? He'll knock it down with his legs still shaking. You need defense? He's going to take any assignment. What do you want him to do? He can do it. Shout out to Diddy. But he also brings, like, he's an elite rebounding guard. Over 7 rebounds a game as a wing. Those extra possessions are gold in the playoffs. But also the man you could start to see, he's an effortless playmaker. A deflected ball here, a tap rebound there, it all adds up. But what I love the most, that I doubted at first, was that he's the locker room glue. He brings camaraderie, he brings leadership, and he also brings a hunger to win. He's the guy diving into the third row when the team is up 20. And in clutch moments, you want Josh Hart on the floor, not just for his defense, but because of what he represents. All-out effort and no excuses. And he is the brother of the best player on a team. Those cats are like brothers. So, look, the strategic advantage for us is this. No more one-man band. No more one-man show. Here's the game-changing realization. With our starting 5, the New York Knicks don't need Brunson to average 30 for us to win. In fact, here's how scoring could break down on any given night. Karl-Anthony Towns, 23 points per game. Jalen Brunson, 21 points per game. Mikal Bridges, 18 points per game. OG Anunoby, 14 points per game. Josh Hart, 10 points per game. And all of them are capable of dropping 25 plus if needed. This approach makes us as the Knicks harder to scout. Who do you game plan for with that type of production? Also, we're more resilient to injuries when we balance it out like that. We're less predictable in crunch time. Contrary to what y'all talk about with Tips, we're better at punishing defensive matchups. When one player struggles, 3 others can rise. We've seen it. It's not just about having multiple weapons. It's about each weapon being sharp, tested, and unselfish. All of our players got experience. Let the media convince you if they will and try to say it's one player or the other. We have multiple. And we also have a defensive identity of versatility and violence. This Knicks team might be better on defense than offense. And that's saying something. Why? Because this 5-man group can switch everything except Brunson. And even he can become a reliable team defender. We've seen them dig in this series. Imagine a late game scenario where Josh Hart guards the point of attack. Bridges shadows the best wing scorer. OG takes the biggest scoring threat. Towns zones up and protects the paint. Brunson rotates and Telegi takes a charge. It's not only suffocating, but it's demoralizing. It's not only demoralizing, but it's Tibbs. They don't need to foul. They don't need to gamble. They could just stay in front, rotate, close out. And when it's time to rebound, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, Robinson, Towns, crash the glass. What are we doing? What I love about this team most, though, is the mental toughness. Each player on this team has something to prove. Jalen Brunson wants to be recognized as the top-tier point guard and a championship-level leader. Karl-Anthony Towns wants to shed that empty stat label and prove that he can win when it counts. Mikal Bridges, especially this season, especially with Knicks fans, wants to prove he's more than a 3-and-D role player. OG Anunoby really don't care. But I'm going to say this anyway. The man wants to prove that he can stay healthy and show he belongs on the biggest stage, especially in Madison Square Garden. And Josh Hart Josh Hart simply wants to show his hustle wins titles, not just games. But most importantly, we all trust Tom Thibodeau, a coach who demands accountability, defense, and sacrifice. That trust is rare in today's player-centric league. But Tibbs has these guys all bought in. And that's the formula for a championship. Ladies and gentlemen, our championship window is wide open right now. I thought it was the beginning at first. But they've showed with this 2-0 lead on Boston is right now. The Knicks have become the rare team that is both depth and chemistry. And unlike super teams like that one on the other side, we were built in free agency. This Knicks core fits together. And if the Knicks up 2-0 in a playoff series, like we are right now against Boston, then it's no longer theory. It's actually happening in real time. The Knicks are not a next year team. We are this year's threat. So I say all that to say this. NBA should be scared. NBA should be scared of us. Everybody in the playoffs should be scared. This isn't the 90s Knicks hoping to mug you for 82 or 79, that's the final score of the wins. This is a 5-man core that can drop 120 and lock you down at the same time. This is a team with 5 defenders who can switch, 5 scorers who can create, and 5 leaders who don't care about stats, just wins. This isn't the 90s. Jalen Brunson finally has the help he needs. And now that the burden of solo scoring has been lifted, the Knicks are free to become what their fans have dreamed of for decades. A championship caliber machine. Shout out to Patrick Ewing, man. Shout out to those cats that got us so close. But this year, the league should be scared. This playoff run, the league should be scared, very scared. Because the Knicks have arrived. And they've brought Villanova grit with them. They've brought Kentucky fire with them. And they brought a New York-sized chip on their shoulders with them. So what say you? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life. That applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there's no progress. But also remember this. Whether it's out here in the real world, here in Knicks Deli,
everybody eats. I'm your boy Sheer, and let's get 3-0. Peace.